Welcome back to my short series explaining various PC parts on a beginner level. If you haven't checked out the rest of the videos in this series, it might be helpful to have some background knowledge. Check out the top right corner and catch up on the ones that I've made so far. Now let's talk about RAM. When I was first learning about RAM, it was probably one of the most confusing things to me, so hopefully this video will help you out. RAM, or random access memory, is a small amount of dedicated flash storage. You can think like a thumb drive that a computer, the CPU especially, will use to make calculations on a short-term time frame. It provides the space in which the CPU can do its calculation, its work. You can think about RAM like a desk or a table in a workspace. If you're working on more than one thing at once, you'll want some space to work with. This is a sort of equivalent to RAM. If your desk is too small, things will become cluttered and you'll have to start to slow down in order to get your tasks done. The same is true for RAM. You have too little, your computer will slow down to start working on tasks one at a time. RAM is usually referred to as memory because it's storing data on a short-term time frame, whereas long-term data is stored in storage since it can be kept long-term on drives. It can be recalled and remembered. The data sent to RAM is known as volatile since it will be erased once the computer loses power. There's no permanent storage on your RAM, at least not for the most part. RAM speed, like the CPU, is measured in hertz, which is how many cycles of data transfer can be performed in 1 second. Usually you'll find RAM measured in megahertz, which is in millions of cycles per second. In terms of gaming, you'll want to buy a decent amount. I recommend starting with 16 gigabytes. You really want to go with as much as you can afford within your budget so that you're not bottlenecked by your RAM when you're playing highly calculative games that involve a lot of calculations. You'll want to make sure that you have dual channel RAM whenever possible. That definitely helps with your performance. For an entry-level build, I would recommend 8 gigabytes at the very least, with 16 gigabytes giving you some staying power for higher power games. If you're at 16 gigabytes, you'll either want to get 2 sticks of 8 gigabyte RAM or 4 sticks of 4 gigabyte RAM depending on what your motherboard will allow. The max speed of your RAM will also depend on your motherboard, but I recommend getting as fast as you can. However, you can also save money by opting for a slightly slower speed. It won't make a huge difference in your gaming performance. An additional factor in RAM speed is the CAS latency, or CAS latency, which stands for column access strobe, which is how many cycles it takes for a module of RAM to access a set of data and send it to the RAM pins for output. Generally, lower is better. There is a formula you can use to find the true latency of your RAM, which is more complicated than the scope of what we're talking about in this video. I've never even done it myself. I haven't paid much attention to CAS latency since I don't think the difference would be super tangible between 2 sticks, but it's a stat you could dig into more if you are interested. I think that pretty much covers RAM. It's not a super complex topic, but it is definitely worth learning about. Check out the rest of the videos in this series if you want to keep learning about components and how to build a PC. Thanks so much for watching all the way to the end of this video. Let me know what you thought in the comments section below, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.